This section is very important because reviewing literature will ultimately tell you the research gap. That means whether your chosen field is alright or not, whether there is any gap or not. Number one issue. Number two, literature review will tell you how you are going to do your research. Say, for an example, in your structural equation modeling, we have given you a model. When you are going to develop the model, what are the variables we have used in our model or you are going to use in your model will be supported by your previous literature. That means in a structural equation modeling, the equation is totally based on your literature review. So, literature review is not a silly issue. This is very important issue. The literature review will give you the updates of the existing literature on your subject matter. So, literature review is a very big issue. Although the job is not very difficult in today's age of IoT, Internet of Things, because all the resources are available online. If you have the access to internet, you can have the access to all the resources available. But there are still some restrictions. Say, for an example, without subscription, you cannot read the papers. Without subscriptions from your university, the resources are not available in your university's library. So in that case, what usually we do while we check the literature and we are unable to read the literature from our end, usually we refer it to the colleagues or students who are living in the developed countries. So developed countries have the access to the database, resource base. So from our developing country, as we are poor, we cannot invest in literature. So that's why usually, personally, when I face any problem, I cannot download any paper, I cannot read the materials, then I refer to my colleagues who are living in the developed countries, my students who are living there, or you can also take the help from your friends, those who are now studying in the developed countries. You can take help from your family members. And even if you cannot download, then you can refer it to me, I can manage it. So, whether you have access directly or whether you don't have access directly, you need to read the materials, latest available resources. These resources will ultimately help you how you are going to contribute to the new field. That means we have defined what is research. We said that research is creating knowledge, new knowledge. So to add any value, to create new knowledge, you must have to have the existing knowledge in your inventory. So your literature inventory must be updated. Otherwise, you cannot identify the research gap. That is the essence of literature review. So the issues that we are now going to discuss, say for example, we are going to discuss which literature is important. The literature that is published by authentic sources is perfect literature. Say for example, usually we check who is the publisher. If SBR, Springer, Nature, these are the very world-renowned publishers are there, then we think that the publication is authentic. The book that is published by any local companies here in Bangladesh is not authentic because, say for example, you have heard the word Poppy Guide, Poppy publishers, etc., etc. These publishers are not acceptable to the researcher because they don't have any review system. They must have very rigorous blind review system. Blind review system that you are submitting a paper, this will be reviewed by people who are not known to you. It is known as blind review. So whether blind review system is there or not, this will certify whether the publisher is fit or unfit. So while you are reviewing literature, you have to have the latest inventory of the knowledge to contribute for the future field. And you have to have the knowledge from the authentic sources. Authentic sources. But even if it is published by very unknown publisher, there is no blind review system. You cannot copy anything from the sources. So it means that even though the resource is not very affluent, the resource is not acceptable. However, you cannot copy. So literature review, the importance of literature review, know the literature, whether it is authentic or not authentic. But when you are citing anything in your literature review, in your existing paper, that must be authentic. Citation must be for the authentic resources. So literature review is very important. If the questions there in the exam comes that why literature review is important, the answers will be number one, to know the real gap. Number two, to know the existing inventory of the resources on the subject matter. Literature review is important to identify the variables in a structural equation modeling. Literature review is important to identify appropriate methodology to answer your research question. Because what methodology you are going to choose may be unknown to you. What you have to do, you have to read the literature. You have to check what methodologies have been used by the previous researchers. If any method is available to answer your research question, you can choose your method. Why literature review is important? Literature review is important to compare the results. The results you have got. If there is any similar type of research results are available, then you can refer in your results section. So literature review is very important. Literature review is important even to write the introduction. In your introduction, you write the motivation of your work. Why you are motivated to choose a field, your topic. So there you will justify using literature review. In your literature review section, you will find out the research gap. You will find out the research variables. In methodology, you can justify your research methods. Why you are going to choose these methods. Is there any literature support to use these methods? In results section, literature review is important to compare your previous similar type of results. Also in conclusion, when you are answering research question directly there in conclusion, you can compare the direct answer from the previous research. So literature review is important to write whole the report. But more importantly, it is important for finding the gaps and identify the variables. Also in structural equation modeling, to identify the hypothesis. Hypothesis is also coming from the literature review. So this is all about the literature review. Now we are going to learn from the slides, what the slides have written. Whether these issues are not reflected in the slides or not, but this is from my experience that literature review is important for your whole report. Your whole report. All right. So let's begin. Yes. What are the objectives? Understand the purpose of literature review. Maybe the purpose of literature review is clear. Learn methods for organizing your literature. Then how you will organize your literature. That is important. Say for example, if you are developing literature inventory, then you will develop from beginning to end or from end to beginning. You will include the latest literature first. That is organizing a literature review. Identify potential goals for conducting a research review. Gaps, hypothesis development, methodology identification. Become familiar with the steps of a literature review. What are the steps you can follow in literature review? The steps are you choose a field, then you will read the relevant resources, then you will find out the gap. This is the steps. So you have already chosen a field. Now your most important job is that you are going to write the literature review and you will also identify the methodology. What is a literature review? What is the purpose of a literature review? Can you tell me what is literature review and what is the purpose of literature review? Mr. Shojib, what is the purpose of literature review?
Sir, from your lecture and from my completion of previous assignments, a literature review has two purposes. The very first purpose is to give me a background knowledge, what has previously been done, so that I can collect the necessary data. And the second purpose is to find the gap which is existing, which hasn't been touched, or which of the questions haven't been answered, so that gap can be filled by my research. So I think these two are the purpose of literature review.
So, in identifying the variables is also important purpose of literature review in structural equation modeling. Identify the methods, with which methods you are going to choose. Also, matter of literature review, because if you do not know about the previous literature applications of your methods, or you don't know any methods, how you're going to do the research, your literature review can help to identify your methods. Also, to write the results, you need literature review to compare the previous results. Also, to answer the research question in your conclusion, you can use literature review. So, purpose and scope of literature review. Review of the related literature. What has been done? Searching, organizing, summarizing literature on a topic. What needs to be done? What has been done and what needs to be done. you are receiving from your literature. Several guidelines are important. Do not include everything. It's important. So do not include everything. Only include that is relevant to your subject matter. Only review work that is related to a topic and research questions. Important. Topic and research questions. Do not include everything that you have read. Your new topics. Review literature that is related to your topic. For a new topic, review literature. Ultimately, you will choose a topic and then you will read the literature related to it. This is citation system. And then roles of the literature. Define the perimeters of the investigator's fields, placing the research question in perspective, learning which methods and instruments have been useful and those that have less potential, avoiding unintentional replication of the previous studies, placing researchers in a better position to interpret the significance of their own results. So are you getting defining the perimeters of the investigator's field that we have said that identifying the indicators, variables, placing the research question in what is your research question? So you are finding the gap whether this question you are discussing or answering in your research question, in your research work. Learning which methods and so now literature review are also helping you to identify the methods and instruments have been useful and those that have less potential, and avoiding unintentional replication of the previous studies. That means literature review will say you that you are not going to use the same job, do the same job, placing researchers in a better position to interpret the significance of their own results. That means result sections. Steps for writing your literature review. Identify a topic for investigation that you have chosen. Locate the relevant literature. Locate. This is, old word. Now, in today's world, locate means what? Especially all are online based, isn't it? All the resources are available. When you are publishing a paper, this paper are being available online, isn't it? So the resources, the location is ultimately in today's world is URL. Say for example, in your university, there are some library linkages. You can read any materials from Willy. You can read any materials from some specific publishers because UGC, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, has made some agreement with different publishers. The resources are available only in your library. When you are out of the library, you cannot use. But the Dhaka University professors can read the materials even if they are outside of the campus. Sometimes I use the information from them. Look at from them, I collect some resources. Critically evaluate the existing literature. Now look at and then critically evaluate the existing literature. Organize the quality and relevant information outlining the writing process. So that means you are collecting data. Data means literature. The data for analysis, not that data. Information. Outlining the writing process. Present the information identifying the existing research and the purpose and benefits of new research. Important. Existing research and justifying the purpose and benefits of your new research. The justifications are coming from the literature review. Why you are going to undertake this research. So research interest. When you are choosing a area of interest, you must be very specific. Begin with an area of interest, but avoid topics that are too general, too specific, overused, or outdated. So, too general means, say, for example, you are going to do some research on operations management. You are going to choose a general topic. What is the importance of operations management in Bangladesh? It is too general. What is the importance of operations management is too general and too specific. Too specific means very specific. How employee employees hand can help to improve the productivity. So you are moving only to, or maybe dexterity of fingers has impact on productivity improvement. Too specific. Each specification is important, but too specific may be very difficult to quantify. And overuse, that means, say for an example, now today's people are working on green supply chain management, green operations management, green production management, etc. So the green word is overused. So you should have to avoid the overused words in research topic. Outdated, something that is outdated, say for an example, applications of computer in production operations management. So it has become outdated. Applications of computer was very recent topic in 1970s, 80s. Now the researchers are not working on applications of computer. They use different updated words, so for example, artificial intelligence or Internet of Things. These are all computer based. But you cannot use the outdated word. You can use the overused words. You cannot use the too narrow field, too specific or too narrow and too general field. Accounting cannot be your. So can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry, maybe I was disconnected. It is one of the problems. So we are waiting for Elon Musk's internet services. That would be disruption free. We hope, isn't it? So still we are facing problem. So when you are choosing your research area, you have to think about these factors. All right. You have to think about these factors. And then evaluating the existing literature. When you are going to evaluate the existing literature, what points you note? You must search and examine or sift through all the information in casing the topic of interest and ask, are there loopholes in existing research. So you have to find out the loopholes. What are the benefits of existing studies, and will a new study add to the existing literature? So, benefits of existing studies. Only you are choosing a topic that is not important for the future, not important for the society, is not good topic to choose. What are the limitations of the study under consideration? So you have to find out the limitations of the existing literature. You have to find out a new study. You have to find out that the study has some benefits. You have to find out the loopholes through literature review. Contributions to the existing literature. Conducting a literature review will orient the researcher with existing literature. The researcher will seek to demonstrate how a topic or question will make a contribution to existing literature. The researcher seeks to demonstrate that work is not an unnecessary replication of the study. That means the issues, we have already focused on all the issues. Why you are doing the literature review? Is the topic manageable? Ask yourself, am I truly interested in this topic? So that means your motivation will tell you whether you are interested in the topic. What are the reasons of your motivation? It is important because SOP or statement of purpose. The students who are going to the United States for higher study, they have to write a SOP, statement of purpose. That means why you are going to do research on a subject matter. So there you are ultimately explaining you are truly interested in your chosen topic. Because if you don't have the motivation, that means there is also known as motivation letter. You have to motivate SOP. In your SOP, you have to prove that you are motivated on this subject matter. Does it meet all the assignment or personal requirements? That means if you have any personal requirements, you will check. So your topic is in medical field. Your background, personal requirements is business administration. Will it match? So you have to think about your personal requirements. You have to think about your personal issues. Do I have access to enough information? Also important issue. If you don't have access to the information, then the research topic is not appropriate, not manageable. So you have to have the information. So when you are choosing your topic, you will check whether the information is available or not. Is a paper on this topic feasible? And finally, you will check the feasibility. Feasibility means your maybe it is very important topic. Personal requirements is matching. Information is available, but the information is very expensive. You cannot choose the topic. All are matching, but topic must be feasible. It must be financially feasible. It must be technologically feasible. Say, for example, if you're choosing a field on IoT, internet devices, IoT devices, but nobody is using IoT devices, so it is not feasible. So when you are choosing a topic, this must match with your personal requirements, must have sufficient data or have the scope to collect data, and must be feasible from all sides, from financial sides, from feasibility, technical sides. Say, for example, it requires some special computing techniques you don't know. So it is not also feasible. Machine learning. You don't have sufficient knowledge on machine learning. So you must choose a manageable topic. You must choose a manageable topic. Now, when you are reading the literature, what are the contents? Relevant literature may take several forms, including books, book chapters, published journal articles, conference papers or presentations, theses or doctoral dissertations. When choosing sources, consider, is it scholarly work? Does it have application to the topic? Is it based on theory? Important. Is it based on theory? Because when you are going to contribute your theoretical knowledge, you have to check whether it is based on theory or established model. So it can be your books. When we give you some issues in your word processing system, how to write references, we show you that references for books will be separate from the references of book chapters. Book chapters in today's world, many writers write a book together. One writer writes one chapter. So, whole book written by few writers or one writer. One chapter is written by one writer or few writers. So that is different. And especially this type of books are written by editors. There is a editing system. Published journal articles, conference papers, presentations, thesis, doctoral dissertations, these are the common sources. Internet sources, newspapers may be the sources. So the content of literature review will include books, book chapters, journals, conference presentations, thesis, doctoral dissertations. It may be newspaper, it may be online portal, it may be institutional collections. So everything you have to cite. When choosing sources, consider, is it scholarly work? Does it have application to the topic? Is it based on theory? So in literature review, we have to think about this factors. Then peer-reviewed journals. So all journals are not important. You should not include everything. আগে আমরা বলেছি, do not include everything. Only you cite the peer-reviewed journals when you are choosing journals. Published journal articles are a common source of literature. Published journal articles require an editorial board to review. So you will check whether the journal have a editorial board to review the work, and the editorial board make corrections and determine if it can be published. So editorial board is important having. The work has been reviewed, edited, critiqued, and corrected. So this is also very important. So if it is not been reviewed, not properly edited, not criticized, not corrected, this is not a peer-reviewed journal. So these are the features of peer-reviewed journals. Is the source trustworthy? That is important. So when you are writing literature, the literature source must be trustworthy. Researcher may want to consider the following questions when examining existing literature. Is the author an expert? Is the source current? Is the source complete? Source complete means that maybe the writer's information is available, but the publishing year is not available. It is incomplete. Maybe the journal name is not available. It is incomplete. So it should have a complete picture. Is the source biased or unbiased? Is the source accurate or logical? So you have to think, you have to choose only the trustworthy sources. So when you are choosing web portal, say for example, web portal of New York Times and web portal of any unknown papers, say for example, Kalbela is not same because Bangladeshi people don't have any trust on Kalbela. Is a newspaper and New York Times is also a newspaper. So the source you are taking from New York Times and the information you are taking from Kalbela is not same. So source must be trustworthy. Trustworthy. Internet sources you must be very cautious. Primary sources work that is considered the original report of research providing first-hand information or is the first published account is known as primary source. Secondary source, the information that have already been used now second time you're using second-hand accounts. And assembled review of primary sources may include textbooks, magazines, newspapers, television, radio, journal articles, documentary, documentaries, encyclopedias, and non-fiction books. Also, fiction books is not referable. You cannot include any fiction books, science fiction or some other fictions. Cannot be your source of literature. So, are you with me, Mr. Nafis? Mr. Nafis, are you here? Mr. Shihab, Mr. Rafi, all are the very attentive listeners. Aptahi, Mr. Aptahi, Mr. Muid, can you hear me? Am I connected with you? Sadia, who is with me today? Anybody is listening to my lecture?
Yes, স্যার sir. আমি শুনছি স্যার
Yes,
স্যার
sir.
So, but I've called many students. Nobody is answering. What happens to you? Can I make you absent, Mr. Shakil? So you are in a sleepy mood. Good, Mr. Shakil. Mr. Imon,
sir.
good. One response I've got. So, why literature review is important? Can you tell me why literature review is important, Mr. Imon?
Uh, Sir, literature review mainly important for sir আমরা যে বিষয়গুলো অলরেডি ওই টপিক সম্পর্কে জানি এই জিনিসগুলো অ্যাড করা প্লাস হচ্ছে যে জিনিসগুলো আমরা জানি না সেগুলো অ্যাড করে এবং এদের মাঝখানে যে রিলেশনটা তৈরি করে এটা হচ্ছে স্যার লিটারেচার রিভিউর মেইন পারপোজ স্যার।
This guy is Tunjira or Tanjira.
Yes, sir.
So you are Tunjira or Tanjira? What is it?
Sir, Tunzera.
Tunjera, good. So, Tunjera, can you tell me why literature review is important?
Sir, it helps us to understand what other works have been done in the related field.
Good. So, what are the steps of doing a literature review, Mr. Rafi? Mr. Rafi is no here, not here. Devasmita, Devasmita, is it right? Chakma,
Sir,
Chakma. So, can you tell me why literature review is important?
স্যার হচ্ছে যে to figure out the gap from the existing knowledge.
So, what are the steps? Can you tell me what are the steps of doing a literature review? So, once again, so if I cannot find you, then I will make you absent in today's lecture because you are listening to the lecture, sleeping on your bed from your home, from anywhere else. But even if you have the freedom, but you must be connected. So if we sum up, then we must say that for doing a literature review, the steps includes number one, you have to choose your topic. And topic must not be very vague, must not be very broad, must not be very specific or too narrow, must not have words that is overused, must not have any words that is outdated. That means you have to choose a topic that is recent, updated, important for the society, important for the business, as we are doing business research. After choosing the topic, you will check the existing literature, books, journals, newspapers, any other published sources. And then you will ultimately find out the gaps. What is the real gap? You will find out the parameters, variables. You will find out the research question. And then from the existing literature, you can also help to identify your research methods, what methods you are going to choose. And if you find any method that is used and that is recent, you can use the method in your own study to answer your research questions, to fill up your research gap. And you must choose a topic that is, manageable. Your personal requirements matches, information is available, and it is feasible, financially feasible, technically feasible. And when after choosing the research topic, finally you have to collect data. It may be primary sources, it may be secondary sources. Those who have chosen the structural equation modeling as your methods, primary source will be very important. And those who have chosen structural other methods, maybe hypothesis testing, maybe econometric modeling, then your secondary data will be important. So your model will ultimately tell you how or what type of data you are going to collect. So doing research, what you have to do, you have to get familiar with the library. And library, physical library in today's world is less important than the online databases. Even in physical libraries, even in physical libraries, you have some computers. Computers, all right? Just a moment. Sorry. So even in, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So even in physical libraries, online databases, online tools are there. Libraries often hold archival pieces of information and other types of primary sources that cannot be retrieved online. Good researchers get acquainted with the library catalog. So do you know about the library catalog? Have you visited library in your life? There is a catalog system. In our student life, it was the source of the information only because online database was not there available. No computers were there in the university. So this catalog was the only source of information. The catalog will tell you where the book is located. And you have to go there, you have to collect the book, then read the book. Reference desk. Different programs are available today. And then online databases. Online databases are electronic sources that the library pays a fee to have access to. So these electronic sources, these are available upon payment of fees, subscription fees. And in third world countries, it is rare they are providing subscription fees to the international publishers. Say, for example, SBR or Springer Nature. They published maximum latest uh, articles. So we don't have this success. That's why in our personal cases, we refer it to our friends living in the United States or some other countries. They are helping us to have the access to. Published articles are found through electronic databases. They search thousands of journals, books, chapters in edited books, government documents, newspapers, and theses or dissertations. All right. So you have to have the idea about the online databases. This is important. And guidelines for creating a literature review, create an outline and process goals to guide work for the project. Process goals are objectives needed to accomplish a task. Break the assignment into manageable pieces. Work on one task at a time. Organize by theoretical foundation and draw relationship between the current projects and the previous studies. So maybe these are written in these two sources. The sources are available at the reference list. So say for an example, you have made a presentation or you have developed a model on the relationship or the maybe it was training impact on training impact on company employee performance on organizational performance. So these are, if you have what you have to do, you have to create an outline. So first outline, you will develop the relationship between training and employee performance. So under training and employee performance, there are some other factors, isn't it? Need assessment. So what is the impact of need assessment, relationship between need assessment and employee productivity? Need assessment and employee efficiency. So this is outline. Create an outline of your job. So what is your topic? From your topic, you create an outline. What type of literature you are going to read? So based on that outline, you start your job. Say, for example, work on one task at a time. What does this mean? This means that you are going to study need assessment, AI empowered need assessment on employee performance. So read literature related to this topic. Then second time, program design, impact of artificially intelligence empowered program design on employee performance. So another topic, you work on that topic. So choose one task and then complete the literature review on that particular topic, one task. And then organize the literature, organize theoretical foundation and draw relationship between the current project and the previous studies, your project and the previous job. What is the impact of artificial intelligence empowered training on employee performance, or artificial AI empowered assessment, training need assessment on employee productivity? One topic, your current project, and what about the previous studies on this subject matter? You will summarize. So are you getting how we are going to organize your literature review? So this outline creation is very important. Create outline and then do some literature review on one particular topic or subtopic. And then relate your project with the previous work. Your project is AI empowered training need assessment on employee performance, and what about the previous studies? Previous studies ki chilo? You are going to summarize, organize. So create an outline and process goals to guide work for the project. Process goals are objectives needed to accomplish a task. Break the assignment into manageable pieces. That means you are breaking the assignment into manageable pieces. These pieces includes number one, AI empowered training need assessment on employee performance, and work on one topic at a time. So what maybe the other manageable pieces? AI empowered training, design and develop on employee performance. AI empowered training implementation on employee performance. AI empowered training evaluation on employee performance. So are you getting manageable pieces? 4 pieces are here. So you have to break the assignment into manageable pieces. This is very important. This is very important. And after that, you are going to do some literature review, guidelines. And guidelines for creating rules of thumb is that there should be a source for every citation and a citation for every source. That means there should have a source for every citation and a citation for every source. So that means nothing will be uncited. You have to give the citation of every source. That means every source is citation. A citation for every source. If a source is in your reference list, it should be used somehow in the body of your paper. That means here we write this citation in the body, and the same thing is written there in the reference section here. Shepris, vendor may. So it is the reference, and we have cited this there in the body. If a source is in your reference list, it should be used somewhere in the body of your paper. Body, this is the body we have cited here, and in the reference list we have given details. And these are the softwares for citation management. Mendeley is one of them. Jotero is another. Then Perla is another. Style is another. EndNote is another. And word processing. We have shown you referencing using Microsoft Word or word processing system, if you can recall. And I was also committed to teach you how you can use Mendeley in your laptop. So we can show you how you can use Mendeley in your project. All right. So and this is also some, okay, we are coming to Mendeley, but before that, let's check some structure. Broad statement about the topic, demonstrate why the topic is important, discuss what has been written about the topic so far, introduce your intention with the topic, report findings that illustrate relationship between current project and the previous studies, provide a research question that when answered will provide a valuable step forward. That means you are from beginning to end, you are identifying your gap. A step forward. This is the gap. So broad statements, then demonstrate why the topic is important, discuss what has been written about the topic so far, then introduce your intention with the topic, report findings, and provide a research question. This is the structure of doing a literature review. So here you have done this job in your presentation, individual presentation. Topic was the relationship between GDP growth and external trade. What is the theoretical relationship between GDP growth and trade? You can choose this theory. What are the external trade components, export, import? What are the relationship between export and GDP? So these are the topics of your literature review. What is the relationship between import and GDP growth? What are the previous methods used to quantify the relationship? Then what is the gap? And identify your research questions, develop your research hypothesis. These are the contents of your literature review. So now maybe we have 15 minutes time. Within this 15 minutes time, we can show you how you can do your word processing using Mendeley. So what you have to do, you have to have Mendeley in your computer beforehand. This is my Mendeley referencing guide. So that means you have to have this software installed in your computer, right? This is the system. You will install this software in your computer from the Mendeley website. The website is given here. You can download the Mendeley from here. All right. After downloading Mendeley Reference Manager, it is Mendeley Reference Manager. So you will download Mendeley Reference Manager, and then you will install from tools. You'll install Mendeley Site for Word. Install Mendeley Site for Word. So first you will download Mendeley Reference Manager, and then you will install Mendeley Site for Microsoft Word. And then you will open an account. Here, this is my account. This is my account, and this is ultimately new version is also available. If I restart here, new version will be installed. Right this moment, I am not installing the new version. I am here in this software. Now I am going to write a project. I am going to write a project. And what is our project? Say for example, my project is so it is my new project. My project is, say for example, IoT based operations management in manufacturing world. So it is my topic, all right? So now what you are going to do, you are going to do some literature review. So you can choose for the moment your whole topic. And the free sources are here. You can choose Google Scholar. You can have search, all right? So you have to choose your field. There are some papers you have got, several IoT-based production logistics and supply chain system. Modeling IoT-based manufacturing supply chain. We can read this paper. We are going to get some data. The paper maybe, is it open source? Good. Source is open. So IT-based production logistics and supply chain system. And this is a paper published in 2017. And this ultimately the objective purpose of this paper, the lack of reference architecture for IoT modeling impedes the successful design and implementation of an IoT-based production logistics and supply chain system. The author presents this study in two parts to address this research issue. Part A proposes a unified IoT modeling framework to model the dynamics of distributed IoT processes, IoT devices, and IoT objects. The models of the framework can be leverage to support the implementation architecture of an IoT base. The second part of this study extends the discussion of the implementation architecture proposed in Part A. Part B presents IoT-based cyber physical system framework and evaluates its performance. The paper aims to discuss this issue. So you are going to get that this paper ultimately gives an idea about the IoT application in supply chain and logistics management. So they have developed different variables. They have tested the variables. So if you think that you are going to develop literature, maybe an application of IoT devices are given in logistics and supply chain management. Management in. So maybe as a very primary data source, you are using this as your source data, or for every source you have to give a citation in. So we are going to now give the citation here. Automatically we can do it. We can do it here. So for example, the information is available in your Google Scholar page. All right. We have read these materials, isn't it? So what we can do, we can cite from here, cite. After citing, what we can do, we can download. Say for example, Repman is compatible with Mendeley Reference Manager. We will download Repman. This is being downloaded here. Once it is downloaded, we will just install it. So we will install using browse apps. So we'll use Mendeley Reference Manager. Maybe it is not. Yes, here. This one. So the data is adding to my database. The data is adding to my database. Maybe we can check whether the now what you are going to do, you are going to use this resource here. So go to reference. First you have to add the data and then go to reference and then Mendeley site. From Mendeley site, you will choose your desired resource. So you can search here. most recent apparel value chain, IoT. Maybe the resources have not been added. Once again, so download recommend. You must add the resources beforehand, otherwise you will not find out the resource in your database. Maybe before update is not working. In that case, the resources will be available here. And what is the title of our resource? The title of our resource was IoT-based production logistics. So we can check whether the resources are available. IoT-based, IoT-based. Maybe the resources has not been added. So I have to update the resources, update the software. So before updating, it will not take any new resources. So what you will do, you will download the updated one. After that, you will get some resources. The expected resources will be available here. You will just identify your resource and you will write insert citation. This citation will automatically be inserted here. Are you getting how you are going to provide citation using Mendeley site? This will automatically update it. This is in citation. And at the end of the paper, what you can do, you can insert the bibliography. Here, bibliography option is there. Just put your bibliography. The bibliography will be shown here. And still, because of update, the system is not working. That's why it is not showing. All right. It's not working. So maybe after updating the software, we'll show you how it works in a lab session in our school. In a university, we'll show you how to cite your work using Mendeley. But beforehand, you install Mendeley in your computer, all right? And after update, maybe we can do it. Yes. Would you like to say anything? Our time is gone out. Yes, this is true. As our time is gone out, today we are going to finish our lecture. We will come back again. Okay, thank you for today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.